Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. Okay, this is Tackle It Tuesday, and also I'm going to show you 3 of the quilts from Wendy Shepard's autumn book, and we're just going to look at some projects. I have some mail to go over, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So my Tackle It Tuesday is to pick fabric for the London town and also to work on the sashings for Block Wednesday for the Ode to the National Park. So that one's in progress with the Gratitude and Grace, and I have these sashings, about half. I've got one side on, not the other side of them, for the shoreline fabric. So those are the things I'm primarily working on. I have that little bird cross stitch, which I have not stitched on for probably 2 weeks. Yeah, it's just sitting there. So I wanted this week progress that a little further along because it's not very big. I should be able to finish it. I could finish it if I actually worked on it, but I've not been working on it because I've just not felt in the mood. Not in the mood. So anyway, that's something I want to do. But first, before we get into a few things, it is scavenger hunt day, as you see on the calendar for November. So I started thinking, what is one that we haven't done? Because, you know, when you do a scavenger hunt every month and you've done it for years, the number of topics start to get slim. I'll repeat them eventually. But I thought, we haven't really talked about our, like, the little pins that we collect. We, the royal we. Do you collect them? When you go to an event, you collect a little pin, something like that, something like this. You know, so we have these pin collections. This one is an Olfa rotary cutter that Olfa gave me. Here, one of our Australian friends sent me this, and I don't know which friend. I don't remember. I don't remember. And then this one is really unique because this was from Carolina Asmussen, and when we did the Orfield Designer of the Month Club for her month, this was her design. This was her block. It was absolutely stunning, and because it was all places, all the blocks were places, and this was places in Italy. But she did a little pin of her block. I just cherish that. So show your pin collection. If you have it displayed in a cool way, show that. If it's just in a pretty basket or in a jar or something like that, or you just lay them out, but show. We're going to show our quilting ones. You know it's quilting, right? But I need to say it because some of you are going to show me some other random pin collection that you have. No, just the quilting ones. And if you are in my fireside chat at Facebook, if you have a different collection you want to show, that is where you go. So, okay. Pin collections for the scavenger hunt. This is always so much fun. You guys do a great job sort of finding those things. All right, now let's talk about the auction for the Virginia Quilt Museum, the fundraiser, where it is actually a raffle. So you buy a raffle ticket. And they have about 22 items. These are my 2 quilts. One you have seen, we did a quilt along with it, and the other is from one of my books from a little while back on medallion quilts. The book is called, I think, Focus on the Center. So things are just built out. That quilt, that red and white one, is actually one that, it's red, white, and black, that I would see doing that again sometime. I actually made it in several colorways when the book came out because it is such a fun thing to do. You find 3 fabrics that are very, very similar, and then you change their scale to the small. Let's say, you know, this print is red and white prints with the black accent, but I also did one with roses, like small roses, medium roses, bigger scale roses, and it's that effect of building them out that's really effective on this quilt. And so you can buy raffle tickets, and that's a really great way. There's a whole bunch of other items on there, including a Liso iron, some behind the scenes at the museum itself if you live close by, and other cool quilts. So be sure you check it out, and it all goes to support the Virginia Quilt Museum, which is amazing. You guys are so generous. It is so helpful to keep our museums open, particularly ones whose focus is entirely on quilts. That is super, super unusual, and so it's a thing, and so we got to help support them and keep them out there so that they can continue to tell our story for those who come after us. Yeah. Okay, do it. Let's look at Wendy's quilts. I promise 3 quilts today, 3 quilts next day, 3 quilts the day after, and then I'm taking all the quilts back to her when we go to the Virginia Quilt Museum on Saturday when I will see her. So here's this one. Now, I must apologize to Wendy because I called these pumpkins and they're apples. The pumpkins are shaped a little bit differently, but these shapes are the apple shapes. And so this first one, this is from the book. Here's the book, and there are just 9, so I have all 9 quilts. There's 9 quilts in here, and this one is called Apple Turnover. This fabric is so pretty. I know that this is a style fabric that appeals to many, many of you. It's that warm and cozy, a little bit more traditional feel to it, and on an ivory sort of base. It is just spectacular. And let me give you a peek at the backing she used. So look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, so I've got 2 others, and they are not little. Hold on, let me just grab them. Now, this one's called the Apple Petit Four. So again, these are apples, but I guess you could call them little pumpkins too if you wanted to do them in orange. But I love the coloration on this one, having all of these super bright colors. That is just, it is just so gorgeous. And all the quilts in here, as you're seeing, are really decent size. You know, they're not wall hangings. I mean, I would make them all wall hangings, but they're made the sizes to be used. And this one being so scrappy, I think it's fantastic. She did a lot with like 2 shades of the same color for each of these star blocks. See, 2 shades of green, and then here it's like an orange and a red, so they're complementary. What else you got? Browns, a dark brown and a light brown. So sometimes the shading is higher contrast, like this one, and other times lower contrast, like this gold. So, and then in the chain is green, orange, and gold. Isn't that fantastic? And then here is the backing for this one with the little circles. Let me show you the last one for today. This one is called Homemade Cinnamon Rolls. Yum, yum. I used to do that. I used to make homemade cinnamon rolls. I have not made that in a very, very long time. But this is the one that's a log cabin with the kitty cats. And if for some reason, you're not a cat person, you could just leave the top and bottom with the cats off. You could just leave them off, or you could do another row of log cabins to get this length, because the log cabin portion is square. So there we go. There we go. And then she has this gorgeous print on the back. These look a little bit to me like either Brennick Paddock fabrics or possibly, Jan Paddock rather. I'm going really back in time, aren't I? Anybody else remembered Brennick Paddock fabric? Because the one has been passed away many, many years ago. It could be Kansas Trouble. It's that kind of look to the fabric. Oh my goodness, dating my brain, bringing up old things. Okay, so there are 3 of the quilts from the book. While this one is still up here, one of the things that I love about this is how the houses have the door and the window going to the background. For some reason, I find that very calming and effective as a design element. I like as a design element how that looks on this quilt. So, that's a different way of approaching it, because a lot of times people will put a door fabric and then window fabrics, and they would be, 2 other fabrics in there. Instead, this keeps the block as just 2 fabrics, the roof and the house, and there isn't anything additional. Also notice there's some really neat plaids in there. You can see it here, like on this pumpkin. See the plaid? Let me just scroll in. That is a really pretty plaid. I like it with the mix in here with these florals, and then you have a couple of those plaids. It just speaks to me. Of course, Gratitude and Grace, I added a plaid in there, so maybe I'm in that mode. I'm in that mode to add it. It's working for my brain. All right, we had some things come in the mail. We, the royal we. You sent me some things in the mail, some lovely, lovely things. So let's take a look at those. This came from Gloria in Texas. She sent me a sweet card and a wonderful note. And inside was this super cute, super cute. I only quilt in days that end with a Y. Yes, that would be us, right? Only days that end in a Y. Okay, Kim from Ohio. So she's got a quilty card. There we go. Look at that. And we have several of you that found me clock fabric. A couple of you have the kind of from the same person. This is, I think, Tim Holtz's fabric. And so I have a couple of different clock fabrics here to look at. So this has a couple of different faces. And actually, I'm going to keep these to the side and pull the clock out so we can see size-wise what works. So we will do that in a minute. I have from, thank you, from Laura, another clock fabric. Laura is in Texas. Sweet card. Such a sweet card. So pretty. And then everybody's leaving me such nice notes. I appreciate it. Now these are so fun because they, here, I'm trying to get it. There's phrases. See the phrases on the clock face? And here's one that's easier to read maybe. I can read that one. That first one said, a time for laughing, and this says, what, a time to dance. And there's just a bunch of them in here. So there's some other faces, clock faces. Because I won't use that. If I were to use this one, I wouldn't use the whole thing. I would just be pulling out the actual face part. That's what we're going to look at. But those are really cool. Let's see. And I have from Judy in Wisconsin. And she found me some clock fabric too. Here's a card. Look at these. You guys find the best cards. Look at these sewing cards, some of them. Yeah. And then here's some clock fabrics. And this one she wrote, she drew on there, the hands of the clock for 6:15, because in her time zone, she watches me at 6:15 in the morning. Yay, Judy. Of course, that's 7:15 my time zone. But I love it. I love it. So we've got 3 of those to look at. And then here is from Eleanor in Rhode Island. So she's got the mushroom card. I love it. And this one is a birthday card. Thank you for the early birthday card. And she found me a super cute bookmark. Look at that. And some squares for lemon chiffon. And lemon chiffon, for Tackle It Tuesday, lemon chiffon is in progress. But one day soon, I'll have to get it up on the wall and take a look at where I am with that. So these will go right, I'm going to put them, okay, right here, right over here. They go right in the pile. Thank you. And then I got a sweet little package of things from Elaine in Pennsylvania. And Elaine happens to live, I probably mentioned this before, Elaine lives in the same town that I went to college in Pennsylvania, Penn State University area. One of their branch campuses, not main campus, one of our branch campuses. Our ambassador, Carrie, actually lives up in the town where main campus of Penn State is. Okay, so she's found me some super cute socks. And they've got little llamas on them. I love that. And then she found, is this fabric? I think it's a mushroom fabric. Yeah, I know, Elaine, I read this. This came a few days ago, and I read it then, but I've forgotten now what everything said. Yeah, this is fabric. So it's mushroom fabric. That is so cute. Then she found me an ornament. Look at that. So darling. This one's flat, so like if I didn't want to put it on the mushroom tree, it could go flat. And then she found me, look at these. They look yummy. Oh, I haven't tasted those. Milk chocolate pumpkin pie. And you know, pumpkin pie is just a sweet spice, right? And then she said she saw this and had to get it. It is a pincushion. The gnome hat is a pincushion. How stinking cute is that? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, so cute. And then she got this absolutely amazing, I think she believed this one was from a local maker. They're glass bottles and glass straws. So real ecological, is that the right term for this? You know, so that is just so cool because I try to reduce the using like takeaway cups, you know, that you throw away. I try to bring my own cup for a lot of things now. And so this is beautiful. I appreciate it so much. Be the energy you want to attract. Isn't that awesome? Awesome, awesome. Mwah, mwah. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Okay, let me pull out the block. Let me pull out the clock to see about the clock faces. We're going to do that first. Remember, I've been keeping my blocks lately in these big zipper bags. These ones are made by Tula Pink. Here's the owl one. I believe there's still some of these. And then I put one of the design boards in here because my friend Barbara, who helps us out as the ambassador, she suggested, hey, it might fit in there. And it did, and it's been perfect. And so that's where I keep the London Town blocks. Okay, let's see. What have we got? So the key here is to measure. So it's easier rather than me having to cut. I mean, I could cut the fabric, but I can measure it just as easily. So this is the clock face, and it can go, I mean, for me, it can go way out here. I don't care, you know, so I can do whatever size I want. So if I'm looking at like a 3-inch square, here is like a 3-inch square. And so that would fill out, a 3-inch square would fill out to the sides of the blue, the outer edge of the circle, and then it would be like halfway up and halfway down of these parts. So what you do is, let's first look at this big face that came. How big is that guy? So he is 3 inches. So that is the biggest one of the whole group. And so if I were to use this one, let me just, so you could see here, you know, like it would be here to here, like that. Right? And you know, that actually, this particular one is right out to the edge, because I'd have to go like a 1/4 inch around to, you know, or if I'm going to needle turn it, I would do a 1/4 inch around, or if I'm going to fuse it, it'll be cut right on the edge to do fusible applique, or maybe just a smidgen out and then the thread will cover it. So there would be how this one would look, which, you know, you can still see around at the back of the clock. That size is really cool. And there's several options on there, whether I wanted a little bit darker face or the cream colored face. Okay, so that's that one. Now this guy here, these ones that have a lot of words. The other interesting thing here is if I wanted to cut a little bit bigger around the circle, I could get a black rim on it. That would also, you know, that would work. And so this one is 2.5. And so at 2.5, I will just fold it under here a little bit. So I think we can get a really good idea. It'll be a square, but we can get a really good idea about what 2.5 looks like. And so it pretty much, there. So you could see there, like that. So there's 2.5. And that's really cool too. And I think definitely if I used one from this, I would pull a little bit of black and then do black blanket stitching maybe around it, so that it has a little bit of frame, and it just maybe keeps it from blending into the clock face. Okay, and now this one was a little bit smaller, so it would take up a little bit less room. It also does not have the ability to pull from behind. I would be cutting right on the edge on that one, and that one is 2 inches, so it's like, you know, 1/2 inch smaller, but it's still a good option because that face is that face. Wouldn't that face be good? And if I did want it bigger, I could always make a bigger like circle under it of like a more tone on tone or a solid, and then put the clock face on top. All right, and the last one had a whole bunch of sizes, and so what I'm seeing now is that the bigger size is a little bit better, but here we've got like a the face of it is black, which is really stunning, and that's about just a little under 2 inches. And so that one, because I need a full clock, and so here would be this one. So I would probably, if I was going to use that one, which is really stunning, the black, it's gorgeous on here, then maybe I would do something, maybe pull red even, a little red around it. You can see here what that looks like on this particular clock face. See how that red frame looks around it? Could you imagine? Oh, here's one. This one actually has a little red. Look at that. That one has, see? That one has it. you know, but I could also just use my fabric, my own fabric for that. Okay, so that is that looks really good. There's great options. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for thinking of me and sending me a bit of your clock stash. All right, our last block for not last block, what am I talking about? The next block. Next block is the boat, the cutty sark. So, and I definitely am going to do mine red, everything red. And there is, remember I told you there was a page, and one of our friends who is working ahead has sent me an additional correction that should be on the designer's website now, but the double-decker bus, she has you cut a long strip and then subcut, and I believe that the correction is that the longer strip needs to be a little bit longer than what she says. It needs to be 22 inches. And so you want to take a look at that. So the ship, okay, let me just pull a few options for the ship. I have found a few options, just a few, using the red for the sails, and then picking a blue for the boat base, and then I'll find something up here. I'm not worrying about the bird right now. And then of course there's ribbon again for the flags, on both the flags. This is my background, just like, you know, was on here. It's that background. So I do have this one, which is really lovely with the big flowers. The thing is, I don't think this is kind of the feel I want for so much sail, because it has aqua and gold in there. I really want that blue or that red and blue feel. All right, so this is another piece which has trees. Okay, I set these up this way, so let me move them again. Back this way, I think. So here are trees, which give a super cool effect. I think though it has too much white. The white, even though like in my eye, when I'm looking at it in person, I see the red come forward, but on camera, I see the white come forward, and white tends to, it's science. Light colors come towards you. And so even though looking at it in person, I see more red, in the camera, I see more white. So I'm not going to do that one. I have this guy here, which is actually gorgeous to me. It does have the yellow, so, but I might be okay with that. I just love it, and I'm gonna have to chop it up, because this is the repeat, and I don't think it would go on any of the spaces whole, because it's big, that wreath, but that is so pretty. Okay, and then here's the one that has a little bit more feel of this, except that it's blue as the base instead of red as the base. So none of them are feeling perfect, but I'm kind of liking how this one feels, even though it's more blue as the base. And I was actually going to go then for a navy, the boat, or the boat's hull. I was going to go for a navy, but if I did this one, which feels more blue, do I still want to do navy? I found, I had this polka dot I had pulled, and I'm like, oh, but maybe I have a big red polka dot, or maybe I just keep it all blue. I'm kind of loving this. I'm just loving the whole feel of it, because these other ones, none of them were kind of giving me the vibe I hoped for. And do I have one more? Oh, I have this one. I didn't share this one. I thought there was one more in there. Okay, so for the sails, and this has birds. Okay, so that's definitely a lot more red. I kind of like the effect this one has, which is pretty much this style. This is a Tilda fabric. These are Tilda fabrics. And if I did this, the hull and the big polka dots is just perfect. All right, so I have a decision to make. I was looking for a Liberty of a Tana lawn, but the only Tana lawn I have is this piece that's the more navy that I think would work, and it is not long enough, and I don't want to piece it. So that's what that is. That's what that is. So I will decide. I will decide what to use, and yeah, work on it over the next few days. Okay, my friend, remember the scavenger hunt? show your pins, show your pins. And I appreciate everybody taking part in my Gratitude and Grace tour. I know that some of the names have been pulled, and so, you know, you've been emailed for a layer cake. Yay! Yay you! So thank you everybody for joining in on that and saying such incredibly nice things to the people, to my friends who were on the tour with me. All right, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.